previous game. And it's, you know, the pace is so much quicker. It was what I really enjoy when I'm playing it.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about the fluidity, because in a lot of melee combat games, you hit a button and there's like a full animation swing and then you sort of reset. So it's kind of these discrete, chunky times. I understand that in Chivalry 2, the swordplay operates differently than that.
Yeah, we kind of think of it like when you're swimming, where you're kind of constantly using both arms at the same time. And
Yeah.
a core part of our focus this time around has been making it so that players can fight multiple opponents at the same time.
Like 1-on-3, 1-on-4 situations?
Exactly, because that's fundamentally part of the becoming the ultimate warrior fantasy
Right.
and achieving glory on the battlefield.
Well, I mean, I do have to ask, we're talking about swordplay and mastery, but
Hello.
the original Chivalry, I mean, it's kind of like silly fun.
Hello.
Like, how do you balance the mastery with the fun element?
Yeah, our goal has always been to make it so that players can take the game as seriously as they want to and also as silly as they want to. We know that probably about half our audience plays the game drunk, and we love that.
At least half.
Yeah.
That's an important metric to track.
And the game has a huge influence from Monty Python as well. I mean, in the over-the-top voiceovers and the role-playing opportunities. I mean, the game is genuinely hilarious. As an example, you can beat a man with a chicken while quoting Shakespeare.
Like, so like picking up a chicken as a
Yeah,
weapon, that's a
physically clubbing
mechanic.
him to death with a
Well,
chicken.
that's excellent. Well, I mean, I have to ask, when can people get their hands on Chivalry 2?
So Chivalry 2 is coming out early 2020, and it's coming first to the Epic Games Store.
Oh, look forward to checking it out in early 2020.
Oh,
Gentlemen, John
Epic
Gibson
Games
and
Store,
Steve
people are gonna like
Biggett
that.
with Chivalry 2. Thank you so much. We are
Hey.
just getting started here at the PC Gaming Show. Let's take a look at what's coming up next.
You want to watch E3?
You're watching the PC
No, you don't wanna
Gaming
watch E3.
Show. Coming up. Build a world for
Coming up
wildlife
still, you don't
in
want to watch
Planet Zoo.
Planet Zoo?
From the creators of Darksiders.
No.
Remnant from the Ashes.
Still doesn't want to do it.
Baldur's Gate 3. And more trailers, interviews, and gameplay footage.
I think this is going to be one of the more... I think the PC... Because they don't really have like a centralized focus behind it. It's not like Xbox or Microsoft is out there trying to really sell you on the console. This is more like a... This is what happens when you don't have that sort of free market competition, right? They're going to show you some trailers and some things. But it's just kind of a place for the developers to put some stuff. This looks good. What's this? I thought it was a commercial at first. Dark people. This is about game addiction. I like the look of the cars. It kind of looks like Syndicate. Blow your mind, blip blop. 80Ks. 80Ks of resolution. Little meta advertising for it.
That was a brand new trailer for Mosaic, a dark and atmospheric adventure game coming later this year from developer Killbyte and publisher Raw Fury. So how are you guys enjoying it so far? There's been some swords, some space stations, vampire puberty. We're listening to your reactions to the PC Gaming Show throughout the entire broadcast, no matter what platform you're watching
Hey,
and
Felix.
reacting on, so keep them coming. Our next game is a
Felix is always ready to
multiplayer
jump to the
PC
next
game
master
followed
race.
by a popular mod.
Sony
Charge
Pony.
up your proton packs and get ready for Midnight Ghost Hunt.
There wasn't much to go on that last game, but the theming looks interesting anyway. World exclusive. CGI trailer, no gameplay.
When the night falls, there's only you and me.
This looks good.
When the night falls,
Ooh, like a containment team of some kind?
you can
You're a ghost that... Oh, you're like a poltergeist. Can inhabit different things.
darling, if you only knew.
Oh, it's like a bad dream when you try to hide, but you always get caught.
So just tell me, where are you? I got a big surprise.
Hit him with a chair. Okay, so sort of like a multiplayer co-op team-on-team ghosts against ghost hunters. This looks awesome.
I got big surprise.
Yeah, looks good. Sign up for the alpha. Cool. That could be fun. I love the look of it.
Joining me on the stage to talk about Midnight Ghost Hunt is the dynamic one-man team. Creative director, programmer, designer, it's Sam Malone.
Thank you for having me.
Sam, please tell us what is going on in that. What is Midnight Ghost Hunt all about?
So Midnight Ghost Hunt is a multiplayer ghost hunting hide-and-seek game. You can play either as ghosts or ghost hunters, like a 4v4 format.
I see.
The ghosts can hide inside average everyday objects around the haunted house. The goal is to look like harmless furniture, but on the inside, they're not so harmless ghosts as you saw.
Yeah, and if I'm understanding correctly, it's not about hiding as a lamp to try to assault and take out a hunter. It's actually, you would do that so that way you can keep running away and continue to hide.
Exactly. So the main objective of the ghosts is to try to stay hidden as long as they can until the time runs out, until the clock strikes midnight. Midnight being kind of the hour of the ghosts, basically. They can fight back if they like, but in general, they want to try to hide. But if there's a hunter kind of off by himself, he can quickly just hit him in the back of the head and knock him out real quick, and he has less hunters to deal with at that point.
See. Well, what's the identity of the hunters? I mean, we've seen furniture flying all over the place. What are the hunters doing?
So the hunters, it kind of can be divided into two different segments. The first part of the game is kind of almost like a detective game because they're sort of trying to figure out where the ghosts are hiding because it's not really obvious at first glance. So they've got gadgets like a footprint tracker, they've got like a radar like you saw, to try to narrow down where in the haunted house these ghosts are hiding, basically. As soon as the first ghost is found, though, it starts getting a bit more chaotic. There's ragdolls flying everywhere, and they have that cannon to really try to smash the ghosts into pieces. So
This actually looks really good.
I see. Well, talk to me a little bit about the inspiration for Midnight Ghost Hunt. I understand it's based on a Gary's mod called Prop Hunt.
Right. So,
Oh, there you
it's definitely
go.
a big inspiration, but
You know
the big
Felix.
twist for us is that the props fight back. You saw the furniture, they hurl themselves
Yeah.
at you, they knock you out, they send you flying. So it kind of almost becomes like this action hide-and-seek sort of mashup. You have a reason to be a little bit afraid of the things that you're hunting. So that changes up the dynamic a good amount, I think.
And I want to ask about when the clock strikes midnight. We saw the very spooky red color pop up. We didn't see what happens then. What's going on then?
So midnight, if even one ghost survives 4 minutes into the match, then you hear this ominous grandfather clock chime across the map. All the lights will actually flicker out. It'll get really dark and scary, and all of the ghosts that were destroyed actually return as vengeful spirits. They're a lot more powerful than before, and they glow a very brilliant red. So at this point, the tables have turned. The hunters are now the hunted, and they just need to try to work together to stay alive long enough for their evac to come, which is another 4 minutes or so. Usually the ghosts win when it gets to midnight.
Are you talking about like 90% of the time?
Like
wind up
90,
something
yeah,
like
usually
that?
because the ghosts are so overpowered at midnight.
Right.
The hunters are doing whatever they can to try to prevent midnight from even occurring by destroying all of the ghosts and clearing the house, basically.
Looks really good.
Awesome. When can people get the chance to try out Midnight Ghost Hunt?
So we'll be running an alpha event later in the summer. You can sign up at midnightghosthunt.com. I'd also like to give a shout out to our Discord, discord.gg/midnightghosthunt. Later in the summer, we'll be giving out keys on our Discord as well as on our main website.
Well, wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Malone from Vault
Yeah,
of Sky.
well, I mean, that's a good way to keep the pacing up high. So
For
you're not
our
good,
next
you're,
title, we got Frankie up in the balcony, and if I understand
Gives you
correctly,
motivation to keep
Frankie,
going.
This is a sequel.
You do understand correctly, Sean, yes. It's a big sequel to a small indie game. Unexplored 2 is a procedural adventure, a roguelike that challenges you to fight, to be clever, and to solve its mysteries. Explore a beautiful world, engage with its creatures, and befriend its people. Search for magic lakes and ancient statues until you die. And die again. This is Unexplored 2.
You know what always creeps me out is after they've finished their speaking and then they have to keep looking at the camera until it fades out. I forgot the name of that sniper game, Felix. Spy Party. It's called Spy Party. This looks really nice. God, it's so amazing the indie styles you can do now. Well, the styles that anybody can do. Like, you could do this on a big budget, but it seems like you can also see this stuff in in Indie Land. Just like beautiful illustrations come to life that you can control in real time. It's just nuts. Yeah, like what we were saying earlier there about the midnight thing. You have to have something to motivate the ghost hunters to find the ghosts. And then, but then you're sort of encouraging the ghosts to turtle or to camp out, which is, I guess, the whole point. They're taking over these objects. So this is a sequel, this one. Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think of more games that do that. Sometimes Unexplored 2, eh? I'm going to look up Unexplored 1. Open access on Fig.
One of the biggest bang for your buck that you can get when building a new rig is investing in a new monitor. And here to talk about a groundbreaking new display is Samsung's Dean Dalcero. Welcome, Dean. What you got for us?
Samsung C27 RG5 curved gaming monitor.
Well, let's take a look.
The nervous head down after. I'm looking at I'm watching this on a Samsung right now. It's a 720p big sort of TV, actually. No, it's big for a monitor, small for TV. Curved. Whoa, look at that. Gone. It's gonna look so good. Yeah, you know, in terms of games where you can be hunted but in disguise and have that tension, Felix, I can only think of games more where, you know, you're in disguise but you're, it's more like an escort mission or something. Like Metal Gear Solid 4 where you're whistling. You're following the whistling guy.
And I gotta start asking, talk to me about some of those juicy features and specs.
But it's better to have that tension involved as opposed to just being worried about having to restart the mission.
So you have lag-free and tear-free performance. And we think that the curve, it's a 1500 art radius, is going to be a very immersive experience that you wouldn't get from a traditional flat panel.
And I wanted to ask a little bit about
This poor
some
guy.
of the color specs.
Sure, it's a 3000:1 contrast ratio, so you get those deeper blacks, brighter whites,
Right.
and hopefully you'll see your enemies first before they see you in the dark scenes.
Yeah, and I understand it also has G-Sync. I saw that flash up on the screen as
Samsung's
well.
first G-Sync compatible monitor, so we're super excited about that.
Well, since this is the PC gaming show and we're showing off a huge variety of games here, what are the types of games that you would expect that 240 hertz refresh rate and the G-Sync to work well with?
Sure, so we think everybody's going to appreciate the speed and the performance, but ultimately, esports first-person shooters are really going to benefit.
Right. Well, of course, I have to ask, not just when is it available, but what type of cost are we talking?
Sure, so it'll be available in mid-July for under $400 for a 27-inch panel. So it expands our gaming lineup to 8 models. Yeah.
Because when you said 400, I mean, that's the 27-inch is
Right.
the $400 mark. Wow.
Yeah, so our gaming lineup will be expanded to 8 models, ranging from 24 all the way up to a 49-inch dual QHD. Check out samsung.com/gaming240 or see us in the back of the room for more info.
Yeah, that's right. For any of you in the audience, it's there. You can go there for it.
It is not 4K.
It's not 4K.
Not for that price point.
Well, I want to let you know that we have all sorts of great presentations and games coming up. Let's look at what's coming up in the PC Gaming Show.
Stay
Wow,
tuned for
that
more
was
announcements,
rough.
Trailers and never before seen footage, including Gearbox answers burning questions about Borderlands 3.
Ooh, Borderlands
The
3
next
stuff.
game from Clay Entertainment. Get ready to rip the galaxy a new wormhole in Valfaris. And more.
I like that little 2D shooter. That looked cool.
And now the PC Gaming Show presents What's Next from Funcom.
People are like, oh yeah, I guess we should clap.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the warm applause. It's very exciting for all of us at Funcom to be here at the
Cool
PC
tabs.
Gaming Show for the
Not
very
shall
first time
loosely.
ever. And naturally, we would like to show some of the cool stuff that we've been working on.
So without further ado, here are some of the games coming for 2019.
Something strange is going on all across the zone. I don't fear nothing until now.
A lot's happened since you've been traveling, Khan. We could use your skills.
Oh,
Stalkers
Horky was
got
telling me
each
about this
other's
one.
backs,
Sort of like an
right?
XCOM style
What
game.
happens to you happens to me.
Shockwave approaching.
Oh, cool. Whoa. Just like using those escalating waves to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, on to another one. Moons of Madness. I'd like some more space games, space horror, space thriller, space exploration. But I guess it can be kind of bland where, you know, how many different ways can you do a space station? Lots of ways, but it seems like people just tend to do it the same way.
Who would have thought? My son, off to fly among the stars.
As I think Nintendo's style of doing it pre-recorded, just having them sit down, it works better for when you're talking to developers. They're not like comedians. They're not performers. They're not entertainers. They're just they're people that want to make games, and then all of a sudden they're put on this big stage, feeling incredibly uncomfortable. This guy's thinking, "Where do I put my hands? I'll put my hands here. Okay, this is good. Wait, move my hands? No, don't move my hands."
Very talented developers and help them publish their games. And on that note, I'd like to introduce Phil Mays. He is founder of Mighty Kingdom, a studio out
I
of
feel like I'm in high
Australia,
school watching someone
has
do their
been working with
presentation in
us
front of the
on
class.
Something a little different.
Thank you, Natasha. So on April 1st this year, we put out a little trailer for something called Conan Chop Chop. And considering the date, it was perhaps no surprise that people decided that that was an April Fool's joke. So yeah, we have a little surprise for you. Check this out.
Oh. Like, I'd rather see more of a, maybe just like an intimate one-on-one recording where they can get it right and get it. Not the ones where the recordings of, like, the Microsoft people talking about how great the Xbox is going to be. But more of almost like a podcast style, you know? Get these people feeling comfortable talking about the games. I know that they want to have, but then you can edit that down so you get these quick moments. Conan Chop Chop. I love his music. It's almost like a dystopian sci-fi, but mixed with the old strings of a fantasy classic. I like the little bounce they do when they run around.
So there you have it, Conan Chop Chop. It's a roguelike action-adventure game. It's very real, and it's coming to PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch on September the 3rd this year. It's 2019. We also have a playable version here at E3 at our demo room, so if you want to give stick figure Conan a try, then please don't hesitate to drop by. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It just doesn't really. It's not. You're not putting them in an environment to show off their knowledge and skill and passion. You're just all you're really highlighting is that they're not great presenters. And then you have this. This is somebody who's a professional presenter. Is that even more interesting? Not really. You just want to know about games.
Good times.
See them.
But cheer up,
See the
Sunshine.
trailers.
This
Show
is
the
one of
gameplay.
most original looking
Video.
multiplayers we've seen, with interesting ideas underneath.
It just all feels very false.
And some incredibly portable death machines. Coming to early access on Steam on July 15th, let's take a trip to the last oasis.
My tribe built wooden legs to lift us over the burning sands. We must move forward or die beneath the sun.
Good font. All right, September 3rd. Looks interesting. A lot of PC-style games, I guess, eh? Point-and-clicky strategy style. Speaking of which... The theming in these games is just crazy. Cyborg zombies, dinosaurs with lasers, mechs. It's like they just kind of take a bunch of keywords that people like in the gaming community, mix it up completely. Just randomly.
Strategy game, and joining me on the stage to talk about it is the game director Leonard Sass and principal gameplay developer Tom Bird. Welcome, guys.
Good to be here.
Thanks.
So, Leonard, just give us the gist of what Age of Wonders Planetfall is all about.
Sure. Age of Wonders is a turn-based strategy game where you play as one of the survivors of a shattered galactic empire. At the start of the game, you choose or create your own faction.
Yeah.
And they include the Vanguard Expeditionary Forces, who are in cryosleep when everything went to hell. There's scavenging cyborgs, or the Amazon bioengineers who ride dinosaurs into battle.
Yeah. You know,
Well, that sounds like there's a bit of lore to back it up, so I stand corrected.
Strategy games. To give a sense of what the gameplay is, I just want to start from the beginning of a game. What happens when you first land on the planet?
Well, each race has their own spaceship. The spaceship comes down onto the planet. The planet is where the entire game takes place. And that spaceship will then transform into your capital colony, where your entire empire begins, your sort of attempt to take over the world. Around you, you've got a number of sectors, and each of these sectors has a little story. Well, not most of them. So maybe you'll find a genetics lab, which is still full of horrible mutant creatures, an entertainment complex overrun by horrible robot monsters,
spoilers.
a temple with holes in the sky and horrible demons who come and get you.
And I did see in the trailer dinosaurs with lasers, correct?
Dinosaurs with lasers.
Perfect. Well,
Cats with lasers. No, sorry, no cats with lasers.
I'm so sorry to disappoint all of you. No cats with lasers. You have to settle with dinosaurs. You know, I saw the expansive tech tree show up in the game briefly, and I know that growing resources and tech is a huge part of strategy games. How does that function?
Right, so part of these tech trees come from your origin race. They sort of represent the past of where you came from. They include new units, new modules for your units, like jetpacks for your troopers, orbital laser cannons you can launch from space, social doctrines, it's not all about war. And then the second part of your tech tree comes from your secret technology, and that's all about the future of your faction. So you can create like a combination between man and machine or man and computers.
Yeah.
Others include doomsday technologies that allows you to infect the entire population with alien brain-eating parasites, or win the game by splitting space-time.
I love how many details you're giving me of the horrors that await on the planet.
The future is not a pretty place.
Well, I want to ask about some of the combat that we saw, because in a lot of strategy games, the combat can be very brief. It just, shows two armies pinging off each other. But I understand that the tactical layer is quite rich.
Right, so when combat starts, you'll see, like on the world map, maybe like a little sort of space lab or something like that. When you go into combat, you will zoom all the way in, and you will be inside the lab. You'll see all the pipes and all of the goops flowing around. All of your units, which you've been putting together and built, are now deployed. In turn-based combat, you can move them into cover, use their abilities, shoot laser cannons. Maybe you've chosen the Dvar, so you've got like a bunch of space dwarves in little metal suits. They'll dig holes in the ground, like shoot from the holes. Maybe you've chosen the Kirko, sort of horrible alien bug monsters. They run forwards and slash people and puke acid on them, that kind of thing.
I mean, how long do some of these battles wind up lasting?
It depends. A short battle can be maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but at the end of the game, you've got a massive siege with like 20 units on your side, 20 units on their side. You've got orbital cannons blasting holes in the world, and that can maybe take 30 minutes.
Well, talk to us about when we can play the game.
Okay. The game is due this August 6th. It's going to be available on PC, multiple platforms, consoles, and it's available for pre-order now.
Well, lovely.
All right.
Hey, what's that URL?
It's aow-planetfall.com.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's less than 2 months away. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me up on the
Thank
stage.
you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you for sharing the horrors of the future. And for our next game, Frankie, I have to ask you, what year is it?
Why? The year is 1946, Sean, my dear boy. Europe lies in ruins torn apart by the satanic Plan Z. A brave band of heroes cast the Fuhrer into hell, but little do they know, the nightmare is far from over. Achtung! This is the world-exclusive reveal of the next shooter from the makers of Sniper Elite 4.
I said 1946, not 1846. Actually, she said that. All right.
Rated M for mature.
Uh-oh, everybody get mature. Real mature. Not actual game footage, but gameplay mechanics. Dum, 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 dum. Another movie to show you the game. Hey, friends. Creators of Sniper Elite. Okay.
later on the PC Gaming Show. A love letter to classic JRPGs. What's next for Warframe? A surreal noir adventure set before, during, and after the Big Bang. Baldur's Gate 3, and more.
Nice. It's weird that they announce what's coming up next like there's a commercial, but there's no commercials. Why do they do that? Or maybe they need time to just like set things over.
Unending assault without reason.
But you have videos you can just roll.
To a hatred that we do not understand. This evil will consume our world and the countless worlds beyond. Unless you rise to meet it. A trial by fury and blood. You seek the source of death itself. Prepare yourselves. They are here.
I'm having a hard time kind of getting a feel for what these games actually are.
Joining
Just
me
like
on the
everything is so
stage to talk
cinematic.
about Remnant from the Ashes. In
But
that
here we go.
trailer, we got the chance to see so much new gameplay footage and new
Okay.
environments. Let's welcome the CEO of Gunfire Games, David Adams.
All right, David, tell me about
So,
it.
David, I want to ask right away, for those who are unfamiliar with Remnant from the Ashes, what kind of game is it?
So Remnant's a co-op action shooter set on an apocalyptic Earth and across a bunch of cool fantasy worlds.
And I mean, in that trailer, we got the chance to see a huge variety of different environments. Like, what are these different places? Who's the player in this story?
So as a player, you're on sort of a Odyssey-like quest to save the world, and we really wanted to have a bunch of different cool locales that you go to just to experience a bunch of different stuff. And you start on Earth, but it rapidly changes very quickly as you get into the game.
And one thing that we've talked about before is that replayability is a huge focus of the game, that you could play through it 10 times and still be seeing new bosses, new monsters, new locations. How exactly does that work?
Yeah, I think one of the coolest features of the game is the dynamic generation system. So we generate the maps, the enemies, the quests, NPCs, bosses, everything.
You've built those all by hand, right?
Yeah, it's all hand scripted, but the system takes all the pieces and stitches it together. So you might play the game and come into work and say, hey, I talked to a giant tree and fought a dragon boss, and I'll be like, I met a guy in a helicopter, an old guy in a helicopter, and killed a tree ant. And we'd have completely different experiences playing the same game.
The generation
Keep
sounds
going
pretty
through
nice.
And eventually explore what all the possibilities are.
Yeah, you can play the game over and over again to see the stuff. You can jump into your friend's world to experience the content in their world, and that's a big part of the game, just jumping in and seeing what you get.
Well, I want to ask about loot, which is, I understand, a big part of the game. How does it function alongside this ever-shifting gameplay experience?
Yeah, the loot in the game is all legendary items, and it's tied into the dynamic generation. So if you fight a boss or meet an NPC or get a cool, unique side quest, it generally coincides with a cool, unique item. It might be a boss weapon or a magical item or armor. So if you play the game and you get all completely different events, you'll have different equipment than I have.
And in the trailer, I also saw that there were 3 people walking through these, and you mentioned the co-op experience. How does co-op function in the world?
So the game's full co-op from beginning to end. You can jump in at any point, and the game's definitely slower paced, more difficult. I mean, you will die a lot in this game, so
awesome.
There's a huge advantage to bringing your friends to come in there and help you take down bosses or fight off different events or just generally progress through the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a big fan of Bloodborne and Dark Souls, I'm really looking forward to Remnant from the Ashes. What's the release date, and where can people go for more information?
So Remnant's coming out August 20th on
awesome.
PC and Xbox and PS4, and if you pre-order the game now, you can actually get in early and start playing the game August 16th.
Well, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, David Adams from Gunfire Games. Thanks so much for talking to us about Remnant. And as we mentioned earlier, keep those questions coming. I will be asking on stage the creative director of Borderlands 3 everything you want to know. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, just use #PCGamingShow. And until that time, let's talk about our next title. This one was announced 2 years ago at the PC Gaming Show here. It's a game from Klei Entertainment called Griftlands. It's changed quite a bit in the last 2 years. It's now a deck-building roguelike where you don't just fight, but you also negotiate your way through a broken-down sci-fi world. It's going to be available on the Epic Game Store in one short month on July 11th in alpha. Let's take a look at some of the footage of what you'll be playing.
So I guess, so the point of using the cards is that you can't predict exactly what actions you're going to have?
Planet Zoo is the latest game from the makers of the brilliant Planet Coaster. Please welcome Piers Jackson and Lisa Bowens from Frontier Developments. Now, Piers, what kind of zoo are we going to be running here?
So Planet Zoo is a new management sim game from us. It involves you building and looking after a modern zoo, and you get to look after the most authentic animals we believe you've ever seen in a video game. Each of our animals are unique. They have their own needs, their own desires, and their own behaviors. They interact with each other and react with the world that you build around them. And today, for the very first time, we're really excited to show everyone here our gameplay video and to announce our launch date.
Well, fantastic. Let's buy the world's largest family pass and take a look inside.
I'm gonna put you in a zoo, Leo. In-game footage, ooh. Your dream zoo. Haven't we all had a dream zoo? Jace, you probably have a dream zoo, eh? So a big focus on the actual animals. And the customization of how you build the zoo. I wonder if it's as heavily based on like sort of the bookkeeping and trying to be successful.
I mean, hippos pooing, adorable baby elements. It's absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to play it. But before we saw the trailer, Piers mentioned this is a modern zoo, but what exactly does that mean?
So nowadays, when you go to the zoo, you're not just going to see all the lovely, pretty animals. You go there, you want to be, learning about conservation. You want to learn about the research that they're doing. You want to be educated. And these are all things that you're going to be able to do in Planet Zoo. And these ideas of the modern zoo is really what we take to heart. And we're going to be promoting, the health and the welfare of your animals as the most important thing to do.
And Piers, when can we see more gameplay, and when are we going to be able to get our hands on it ourselves?
So we're obviously demoing the game all this week at E3, but most people aren't going to be able to see that. So we've recorded our presentation. Lisa's done a fantastic voiceover for it, and we'll be releasing that onto Frontier's YouTube channel. That goes live this Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Well, fantastic. I cannot wait to watch.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Thank you so much for joining us, Piers and Lisa, everyone. Next up, We have
I'm
a
just thinking about
very
Prince
special guest
fantasizing
all
about
the
this
way
prison
from
tycoon
Japan.
with hard eyes. Oh, a prison. We could build a prison, and that's the area where they can stab each other and get away with it.
And Shenmue creator Yu Suzuki.
Oh, Shenmue, Yu Suzuki.
That is right.
And
Ladies
dozens
and
go
gentlemen, joining me on
wild.
the stage is a legend of Japanese game development. It's Mr. Yu Suzuki.
Hello, everyone.
In addition to being the brains behind the following games, Hang On, Space Harrier, Outrun, Afterburner, Virtual Racing, and Virtual Fighter, Yusan also created the Shenmue series. And he's here to talk about Shenmue 3.
Let's hear about
right
it, buddy.
now. Take it away, Yusan.
この場に立てて光栄です。Here, standing on the stage today. それと20年支えてくれたファンの皆さん、ありがとう。I just want to say thank you to all the fans supporting me for the long 20 years. Thank you very much. The wait is nearly over.
That's right. Let's take a world exclusive look at Shenmue 3.
All right, here we go. Oh, now Ryo's in the Yakuza. We think it's going to be more interesting. And there'll be fun side games and lots of criminal drama.
Honestly, I don't think your kung fu is strong enough.
Grandmaster, I...
A long time ago, martial arts were bad.
Hey, Shoke.
But humans
Or
are
Shock.
interesting creatures. They practiced in secret, away from prying eyes, and became stronger. One even practiced atop this very boat. Nam Tren survived the ban and was passed on in this way.
What did you say to me?
Stop it. They threaten and extort money from shop owners, get drunk by noon, and cause trouble. Everyone in town is afraid of them.
They are heartless. Hey, wait right there.
Are you okay? They said they seemed like they've given them the direction of like try to sound cheesy.
Guy who got in our way.
You've got some guts to barge in here on your own.
Wow. Sounds like the original voice actor for
So
Ryo.
many people have been waiting for Shenmue 3. I would like to once again
I could
thank
maybe
you so much.
finish
Thank
off
you,
Shenmue
Yusan,
2.
for joining
Just
us
get like
today.
a
Cheers.
Everyone. Thank you.
get a walkthrough and just blast through it. Be fun.
Now our next title is near and dear to my childhood heart. It's based upon a game I grew up playing called Heroes of Might and Magic 2. Let's take a look at an upcoming collaboration between Coffee Stain Studios and Lava Potion.
And how about the weird way they're so deformed, eh? Oh, I like that look. That sort of pixelated, but 3D.
Beasts of the land, it flows through the forests, it breathes the sand.
Lightning and thunder and crackling waves, a land torn asunder by night and by day. The Empress eternal with death and decay, to march upon cities with frost and with fade. They gather the wielders and build mighty walls, resisting, revolting, their armies will fall.
So wield
It's got a great look.
all those you command, and draw out their essence to hold in your hand.
I wasn't expecting this fantasy rap.
These final hours will raise and rebuild to take back what was ours.
Whiskers on kittens and sugar and lippins.
The name of the game is Songs of Conquest, and here to join me in talking about it is the lead designer from Lava Potion, Carl Toftfeld. Hey, Carl.
Hi, hey, thanks.
I mean, let's just start off for anyone who maybe hasn't played the Heroes of Might and Magic series. What is Song of Conquest all about?
It's all about, well, you kind of start out with in the town that you just saw in the end of the trailer, and from there you recruit your wielders. It's what we call our commanders, and you recruit an army, and then you kind of send off your wielders on an adventure. And they go exploring the world, they pick up resources to flag mines, and with those resources, you upgrade your town so you can get more stuff, and that's kind of what you do. Adventure and strategy combined.
Yeah, and you know, I know that part of the core loop is obviously get the resources to build up the township, but for what reason? Armies, man. Talk to me about those juicy battles.
Yeah, so the battle, just like the whole game, is turn-based. So you go into combat, you bring all your troops in, and you start by deploying them, and then all the troops have different stats, like offense and defense and health and so on. And they go in initiative order, and then you slug it out, and it's a bit like chess, but instead of like pawns and bishops, you have like horned wands and face spirits.
Great, and griffins and so on.
Yeah, and all those things.
And well, you know, as someone who just loves the Heroes of Might and Magic series, I know that you have translated a lot of the gameplay elements into Songs of Conquest, but what are some of the modern elements that you're bringing in?
Well, there's a lot of it, but I mean, one of them is our magic system. We call it the essence. So basically, in the Songs of Conquest universe, everything has an essence within there. It's sort of like the soul. So your troops, they have an essence. And to do magic, you need to bring the troops with the right essence, with your wielders.
Oh, I see.
So if you want to like make your troops go faster, you need to bring a troop that has that essence, like cavalry.
And maybe to ask a basic question, what if my opponent kills that cavalry?
Then you can't do the magic. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're fighting someone, you kind of have to like weigh the pros and cons of what to kill off. Like, do you want to destroy their magic or their powerful troops?
Where can people go to get more information? And as always, when's it coming out?
Late 2020.
Oh, it's quite a ways off.
It's quite a ways off, but you can go to songsofconquest.com and sign up for alpha, and then you can play earlier.
Well, as you know, I'm really looking forward to playing it, Carl. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, our next title is an update to a popular co-op game. Let's see what's in store for Vermintide 2.
Ooh, Warhammer.
You just saw the reveal of the new PvP mode coming to Vermintide 2, which turns the Warhammer Fantasy cooperative game into something even more brutally competitive. It looks deliciously vile, and surely dismembering Skaven is so much more satisfying when you know you're going ham on a fellow player, making him or her cry little baby rat tears behind their computer screen. You can sign up now for the Vermintide 2 Versus beta at vermintide2.com/versus. In Per Aspera, you're an artificial consciousness orbiting Mars, whose ultimate purpose is to terraform the planet, starting from a single drone in your landing site and turning the planet into a flourishing second home for humanity. Courtesy of developer Talon Industries and publisher Raw Fury, here's a first ever look at Per Aspera.
As we all know, reaching the Red Planet was not humanity's greatest achievement. Transferring the complexity of the human mind to machines was. So they can succeed where we failed. So they can build us a home on that distant, dusty rock. Today, Amy reaches Mars and begins their mission. Amy, are you with us?
Of course, I'm with you, Houston.
What is that? What
In
was
the Assassin's
that?
Creed universe, our next guest sent players back in time to rewrite history. But for his debut project with indie studio Panache Digital Games, he's going to take us back 10 million years to where humanity began. Here to tell us all about Ancestors is creative director and co-founder Patrice Désilets. Welcome, Patrice.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I've been waiting 10 years to come back on a big stage at E3 showing off a game.
Well, it's fantastic to have you back. I just want to ask, what inspired you to tell the story of human evolution?
Well, when I started Panache, I needed a game, an open world game in which you can do a lot of things. You need a character in a 3D environment at first. And I said, oh, I'm the historical guy, I'm the historical dude, so I need an historical period. So I said, oh, let's go back at the very beginning. It'll be easier to do, because I won't have to build a city, I won't have to build technology, and I was a bit naive, because we built Africa 10 million years ago. And that's not easy to build.
It doesn't sound easy. I mean, how have you turned those themes into gameplay?
Well, you play our last common ancestor, right, of all the big apes, and then you have to explore your environment, and eventually you expand your territory, you expand your clan, because you're not playing that one badass character. You play a group of badass characters. And eventually you evolve into different species, up until Lucy the Australopithecus, roughly 2 million years ago.
I imagine our ancestors had a lot more issues to deal with than we do today. There's going to be a lot more dangers in this world, so tell me a bit more about those.
Well, it's all about from a prey to a predator. Basically, at the beginning of the game, everybody's there to kill you and devour you. And basically, at the end, it's pretty much you. You're the predator, and everybody's afraid of you. And that's the idea of Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey.
So, Patrice, ultimately, what is the key to evolving your clan successfully?
Curiosity. You need to explore, because, you know, I made a game about characters, and you needed to follow the story I wrote for you. This time, you're basically writing the story, right? There's no story per se inside. It's not about going and see mission givers. It's not about looking at the mini-maps and the little dots. It's about you, hey, Homo sapiens. Can you survive like our ancestors did? And that's the question I'm asking the players. It'll be for you to answer that question August 27th.
Well, I was going
on PC first.
I was going to ask you when we can see it, and you answered my question first. Thank you so much,
getting
Patrice.
good at this.
As Patrice says, Ancestors will be released August 27th, and you can learn more at ancestorsgame.com.
Thank you.
They really went for this. I'm surprised how deformed they made the people look in Shenmue 3. It's cool though. It seems like they're sticking with sort of the theme of the older games, the like cheesiness of it. Them looking a bit weird. It's funny though, because when Shenmue 1 and 2 came out, they were trying to make them look as realistic as possible, and by making Shenmue 3 look like Shenmue 1 and 2, they've just gone with how weird it looked and expanded that. Play the card. Yeah, it's funny, they didn't really have any sort of callbacks. Like, for a game that has such a huge nostalgia to it, there was no, no previous characters or no sailors, like no callbacks or jokes, which makes me wonder, do they understand the lore and the love for the game? Or are there like two types of Shenmue fans? Are there the type like me that played it because it was sort of it was the room of games? and then there's maybe the majority of people actually really truly appreciated the story and took it really seriously. Played it in Japanese with English subtitles or something, and it's probably totally different. Yeah, I'm thinking we could pop back into Shenmue 2 and just blast through it. Just to see it. What is this? Auto chess?
Please welcome to the stage,
Auto
Lauren
chess.
Lee, founder and CEO of Dragon Nest.
Indeed, Auto Chess has turned out to be a sensation, with hundreds of thousands, millions of players getting a taste of it. And here to talk about its coming to PC is Lauren Lee. Take it away, Lauren.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Lauren Lee. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the CEO and founder of Dragon's Game. Dragon's Game is a game developer and publisher, comes from China. I'm so happy to be here today on this stage to introduce our game, Auto Chess, to all of you. This is really an exciting moment for us. As the trailer says, this is a real engaging game of Auto Chess. Dragon's Den now is working with the creator of Auto Chess, Jodo Studio.
I like this guy.
We are working together to bring Auto Chess to a world, both on PC and mobile, so that everyone from anywhere with any device can enjoy the same fun of Auto Chess. Now we are building the PC version by using the gaming engine of Unreal Engine 4. As everyone knows, Unreal Engine is one of the best gaming engines of the world. With the help of Epic Games and by the power of
Keep it together, guy.
Unreal,
Keep it together.
I believe we can finish our job quickly and efficiently. And today, I'm very glad to announce the PC version of Auto Chess will be coming to the Epic Games Store. I look forward to all of you playing Auto Chess on PC later this year. Okay, thank you everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, Lauren Lee.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing the news with us. Once again, Auto Chess, if you have not played it, you must check it out. It is so fun. Our next
I like the way he
title
says,
is Frankie
Auto
Up
Chess.
Above. I understand it's an
Unreal
inspired
Engine?
indie game.
Auto Chess.
We'll find out, Sean, because one of the things we love about PC gaming is the way that game creators from all over the world can draw inspiration from one another's work. Cris Tales is a great example of that, a gorgeous indie love letter to classic JRPGs developed by a team in Colombia. Cris Tales' spin on the genre brings a unique perspective that lets you see the past, present, and future on one screen at the same time. So you'll see the future change based on your decisions in real time. Here's the world-exclusive reveal of Cris Tales.
Jeremy. I only know his defense attorney. Oh, Irene.
If you saw what was, what is, and what would be. If you knew how it ends.
Best indie game,
would
best
you
console,
change
Blizzard.
it? Could you make the hard decisions?
Oh, this looks great.
And would you be strong enough to fight?
Visually.
If you learn from the past and act in the present, you can rewrite
Sort of
the
a
future.
Persona style, the way they chop up those menus.
In PC gaming, it's not the size of your weapon, it's how you use it. And I'm holding one of the, well, quite frankly, it's a bit average, isn't it? It's just your average, you know, Glock, really. No. It's one of the ridiculous alien weapons from our next game, Valfaris. A brutal, heavy metal-infused 2D action platformer inspired by true old-school classics like Contra and Turrican. Assuming the role of fearless warrior Therion, players must blast and slash their way through the doomed citadel of Valfaris, overcoming its deadly environments and enemies before challenging the arcane evil at its very heart. Get ready to rip the galaxy a new wormhole. From publisher Big Sugar, this is Valfaris.
Yeah. Just one player? No two-player co-op?
Just incredible action in the Valfaris.
Good trailer.
I'm very excited for our
Good
next
music.
guest. In case you have not been in downtown LA, E3 is covered with Borderlands 3 art. It's amazing, it's beautiful. And joining me is the amazing and beautiful Paul Sage, creative director of Borderlands 3.
Beautiful's a new one, thanks.
Yeah, there you go, Paul. Welcome. I mean, there's been so much hype around Borderlands 3. What's the stuff you're really excited to be sharing this year at E3?
Oh man, so you know, we've talked about our Vault Hunters. Well, this time we get to talk about Mose, and she is our gunner Vault Hunter, so she has a big mech, so it's one of the things. All about loot. We're talking about, you know, the different loot, such as shields, grenades, those things, going to different planets, so a lot of stuff to talk about.
Well, I mean, I want to start right off with Mose. Tell us everything you can about her.
Okay, yes, I'll tell you everything I can. So Mose, again, like I said, she's a mech pilot. She has this big mech, it's called Iron Bear. She gets into Iron Bear.
Yeah.
You know, we have multiple action skills, which means that she can equip either a minigun or a railgun or a flamethrower. You know, if you want to barbecue your enemies, something like that.
Oh,
so,
nice.
You
Mix
know,
and match.
yeah, Mose is a terrifically fun character for us right now.
Now, we've been excited to be collating a whole bunch of community questions. We're going to break them into two categories. First, there's a whole bunch of repeat questions that I want to make sure we get to right now. One of the big categories is about loot, because you've mentioned having a billion guns earlier, but what can you tell us about some of the other gear, the other progression systems in the game?
Yeah, so let's talk about grenades, like one of my favorite things that we don't get to talk about a lot. So in the past, we've had grenades that they've had like one thing. They can bounce, they can stick to different
I love the way that
things,
green
you know?
bit
You know,
goes
this
out there
time
and
we're
creates that
combining,
sort
like,
of
all those
poison
things. So for instance,
slip
the
and
other day I was
slide.
playing and I threw a grenade, and that grenade had a bounce. It would stick, an explosion would come out, and the grenade would fire guns as it was going through, right? So we have like a ton of different grenades that are in there.
Uh-oh.
Shield where if you duck, that shield will extend out in front of you, you know, so just tons of different things that we have, you know, with our characters. Class mods are unique, and that they give you skills this time as well as enhancing the skills you currently have.
I also remember earlier you mentioned about artifacts. What are those?
So artifacts are, you know, we've kind of concentrated on like, hey, does the game feel fluid? Can I, you know, slide into things? Can I jump? Can I mantle? Right. So when we were playing with that, we slid into a barrel, right? And the barrel exploded, and we're like, well, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So why don't we do something like that? So our artifacts actually add certain things to movement. So for instance, you can slide faster. You can slide, and every time you slide, there's an explosion. We have something we call
Second category of questions unrelated to loot. Well, there's going to be a single-player campaign. What's going to be happening after the campaign? What are some of the beyond the single player, maybe end game content that you can talk about?
All right, in-game content. Okay, well, it's E3, so I'll give a little bit. So we have this thing what we call the Guardian system. So for those people who played Borderlands before, you might remember Badass Ranks. Badass Ranks, you can get, you know, it's basically kind of an infinite progression system that added to your stats.
Yeah.
We doubled down on that. We have what we call Guardian Rank. And Guardian Rate not only has that infinite progression, but it has skills in different skins that you can open up as you go through. And the cool thing about that is like every character that you play on that account gets the benefits of Guardian Rate.
Oh, interesting. All right, last category we're going to go through, and then we're going to hit some rapid fire questions. How do the boss fights in Borderlands 3 compare to Borderlands 1 and 2? I know those were big aspects. How do you build upon that?
Right, so I think of a boss fight, you know, like I'm an old school Nintendo fan, right? So I love huge boss fights that have like three phases and stuff like that. So now if those people, you know, smart people in the audience know that we've talked about going to vaults instead of vault, right? And so there are different like huge boss encounters there that are just, you know, multi-phase boss encounters. We have like a lot of different mini bosses throughout the game, so a lot of different boss encounters throughout the game.
Well, now I want to ask some really quick questions that should be yes or no, very brief. First from Castore, how will you be handling multiplayer?
Multiplayer, we will basically be allowing anybody to jump in at any time, so.
Awesome. From MHL Animations, can I pet the gun? Great question.
I'm not here to judge what you do with your gun, so you know, that's a personal question.
All right, great. Sam Wiseman asks, is Maya's new companion a siren?
People are asking the right questions. That's what I will say about that.
Oh, you tease.
Sorry.
All right, from Ironic Sanguine says, is Tiny Tina going to be seen fighting alongside the Vault Hunters?
Yes.
Nice. All right, I'm just going to blast through a couple more as fast as I possibly can. What's the level cap at launch?
50.
Will we get to see Flak?
Yes.
Will we see golden keys and or shift codes for Borderlands 3?
Absolutely.
Will there be duels?
Yes.
Other kinds of PvP?
Yes and no.
And also maybe.
And
perfect.
Maybe, yeah.
And will you be able to transfer weapons between your characters?
Absolutely, right from the start.
Perfect. And when is the damn game coming out?
Friday the 13th, 2019, September 13th.
Perfect. Borderlands.com for more information. Thanks so much for joining me on stage.
Sean, thank you.
Oh, hey, no talk about Epic,
Once again, if you have not seen all the setups in downtown for Borderlands 3, oh, they're beautiful. Our next game, we're going to be revisiting a guest that we saw earlier in the show. He's
should I go?
upstairs with Frankie.
Should I go
What
over
you
there?
got for us?
Oh, hi, we're live. Sorry. Hello, I was
We're
just, I was actually testing out my outfit for this weekend. I don't know, what do you think, John?
I think you look really sharp, as always.
Very sharp. Well, thank you so much. John Gibson, president of Tripwire, thank you for joining us again on the show.
Yeah, very excited to be
busy
here.
man, yes.
Yes.
Now, last year, we revealed Man-Eater to the world. And can you remind anyone who missed it what the game's all about?
Absolutely. Man-Eater is an open-world action RPG, or Shark PG as we call it. You start as a small baby shark pup, and you have to survive in this harsh world and try to eat your way to the top of the ecosystem. The three words that we think sum the game up the best are eat, explore, and evolve. And we also have someone we'd like you to meet.
Well, let's meet him then. Let's take a look at the new trailer.
Yeah, she's going for it. It would have been way fun if she just didn't say anything about it. Just did it addressed as a shark completely seriously. Mississippi Queen.
Come any closer with that camera, we two gonna tussle.
John, who was that appallingly dressed fisherman in the trailer? Because quite frankly, not even I would eat him.
That was Scaly Pete. And Scaly Pete's the villain in this tale. Pete is a best fisherman in the Gulf, the best shark fisherman, or he'll tell you he's the best shark fisherman. And he disfigures our baby shark at the beginning of the game and does some really nasty things. So he's not a very nice
What
guy.
kind of nasty thing?
Now, the story of Maneater is told through the lens of a reality show called Shark Hunters versus Maneaters.
This looks pretty good.
It follows Pete and the player shark on its adventures. And you know, it's a really, you know, it's a very exciting way to tell a story.
And based on that trailer, to be honest, John, it looks like your main goal of the shark is to just bite everything.
Yeah, there is an awful lot of man-eating going on in this game. That is the name of the game. And but
Here we
we'd
go.
like to
Gameplay.
think of the game as a shark-tastic fun action game. It's like GTA if you were a shark. But there's there is more to the game than just eating. So we spent a lot of time moving through the water, breaching out, and adding abilities to go up on the beach for an afternoon snack. There's a lot of exciting things that you can do in the game.
And you mentioned before it's a Shark PG. How does that progression system work?
So there's 3 facets to the Shark PG elements of the game. There's growth, there's life phases, and there's evolutions. So growth comes about through eating things, nutrients, people, whatever you can find. And that's kind of like your XP in the game. That allows you to level up, your shark will grow a little bit, you'll get more powerful. And then at key phases that we call life phases, you'll make a big jump. So let's say you're a brooding teenage shark and you're about to become an adult. When you become an adult, you take a big leap in size, a big leap in power and capability. And then as you reach these life phases, you unlock evolutions that can be applied to parts of the shark's body. For example, you could get metallic teeth that allow you to shred boats, or a powerful tail that allows you to jump to incredible heights, or you could get mutated lungs that allow you to spend a little more time on the beach getting those afternoon snacks.
Just really quickly, John, everyone's wanting to know this question. When's it coming out?
So we're really hard hammerheading away at this game and trying to make it the most awesome shark RPG ever. We're not ready to announce a date, but we're pretty certain you're going to see it before the next PC Gaming Show.
Well, I hope we do, John. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start biting people. In fact, I'm quite hungry at the moment, so I think actually I'm going to find an audience member because you guys look tasty. So I'll see you in a bit. I'm just going to have a snack. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Shark game looks okay. Yeah, that's fun. Put on the thingy. Bunny, do you mean the the presenters? I didn't see any of the Bethesda show. I heard that they came out and they said, look at that lumbar support. Yeah. Oh, those wheels. Oh, so many bolts. Looks so strong. That looks nice. I heard they came out and said we're still working on Starfield and
one of the absolute best parts about being sponsored by iWin for the PC Gaming Show is that I get to sit for this next segment and talk to you about Terraria. Terraria is one of the best-selling PC games of all time, selling almost 30 million copies. And part of the reason why it's maintained such popularity is the fact that the developers Relogic continue to add content, going from 250 items at release to now over 4,000. Let's take a look at their penultimate expansion coming up, Terraria Journey's End.
Oh, I love the music in this game. There you go, Prince. Customization. Uh-oh. I think we had some glitches.
The next title that we're going to be looking at is a game that is the spiritual successor to Her Story. It's called Telling Lies by Annapurna Interactive, and joining me to talk about it is game director Sam Barlow and actor-producer Logan Marshall Green. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Yeah.
My main man.
Now, if you haven't played Her Story, you totally should. It's fantastic. I want to note, it is a game where you watch live interactive video in order to uncover what happened with a murder. What is it that's going on in Telling Lies? What's the premise?
So, like Her Story, Telling Lies is a game in which you watch video footage to piece together a story. And this time we have a woman who has stolen an NSA hard drive, which contains secretly recorded, intimate and private conversations between our 4 characters. Something has gone terribly wrong, and it's up to you to figure out what and why.
It's time to take a look at some of the gameplay mechanics and see Telling Lies in action. Let's take a look.
I'm actually excited to see what they're going to do in their... what their next style is going to be. Oh, yeah. Oh, now it's on a Mac.
Once upon a time.
It's late. I gotta get her in the bath. I don't love you and I don't miss you. You already know too much. It's late. I gotta get her in the bath. All right. Love you. Wait, love you.
I've only ever been in love once. It was with a girl I met when I was 18, but I was too young and naive to handle it properly. I guess I still carry a torch for it, which makes me an incurable romantic or underdeveloped emotionally. I'm a loyal friend.
A man died in my house at work today. We haven't done anything.
All right. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Oh, Sam, I got some questions for you about what we've just seen. I mean, talk to me about the mechanics. I mean, I saw, subtitles up, highlighting, and it was loading more video footage. What's going on?
So what we do in Telling Lies is we take all of the exploration you would have in a normal video game. So all that walking around in a 3D world.
Yeah.
And we apply that directly to the story, to the footage itself. So you're going to be scrubbing around in these clips, paying close attention, and you're going to be picking up on the subtext, listening to names, people, places. And with that information, you're going to use that to find more clips, dig into those, and over time kind of build up this picture of the story. And it's truly like an open world video game.
Well, I mean, a lot of times with open world video games, they talk about, the square kilometerage or miles in America. What's the sort of scope that we're talking about? Like, how many hours of footage is there?
So we got like over 10 hours of footage here.
Wow,
so
really?
It's a story that encompasses like 2 years. What I wanted to do with this one was, like I say, really embrace this idea of it being an open world game. You're free to explore and follow your curiosity. Just lose yourself in this story, all the characters. It's this huge, messy, colorful story that we're trying to tell.
Well, I'm curious, Logan, as a performer in this kind of game, what is it like to actually try to have all the layers in there for each performance, also not knowing when a player is going to be seeing the specific footage you're performing?
Well, it's definitely a non-linear open world game, but our approach and Sam's approach was not unlike a movie or a TV show, and we had to understand it A to B. And so for the most part, that's how we shot it. Obviously, when you're shooting a movie or a TV show, and in this case, a game, you're going to be shooting out of order, but we actually stayed pretty linear in how we approached the story. We went after it like all the other times we're actors. We just went after intention and what do we want, and we tried to make it as deep. It's got a lot of scope. But we wanted to make it as deep as possible, and Sam is one of the best movie or TV directors I've worked with, so it was very similar.
Nice. Yeah, look at you two. Now, of course, I do want to stress to any of you, if you have not played Her Story, it's quick to play through. It's absolutely brilliant. Please check it out in the meantime. But we're, of course, waiting to find out, when can we play Telling Lies?
Very soon. Very soon, I promise. We'll have a date soon. Right now, you can go to Steam. You can wishlist it on Steam. We all love Steam. And yeah, very soon. We'll be showing a little bit more during E3, and the game will be out, very soon.
Fantastic.
Desperate to get it out there.
Yeah.
And people to play it.
As soon as humanly possible. Well, Sam Logan, thanks so much for joining me on stage. Once again, Telling Lies. Now, up on the balcony, Frankie's going to be talking to us about a game that my friends, year after year after year, keep telling me I have to play because of how much they've improved it. Frankie, what's going on with Warframe?
Well, one of my favorite parts of last year's show, aside from being upstaged by a giant duck, was getting a glimpse at the future of Warframe. And here with the latest look at the next expansion to the universe is Space Mum Rebecca Ford. So, chat, behave yourselves, please, because Mother's here. Now, Rebecca, what are we about to see?
We're going to take a look at an amazing trailer that our team has put together. A lot of our players have been waiting a year for a look at what
I thought you was going to start doing sign
so
language.
It's about time to, see what we've been doing.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Rated 17 plus because it has digital purchases. You see that? They have to put that blood, gore, in-game purchases. It's pretty cool. It's the first time I've seen that. I don't know. It's just a bunch of CGI, you know? So I like the trailers for the indie games is it's always actual gameplay. Like a little small. The smaller and the mid-tier games generally show you the actual game as opposed to just a movie.
Rebecca, it must be so exciting to know that the fans have finally seen it, and you're clearly going all in on the epic space combat. So tell me about the new stuff that players are going to be able to experience.
I wasn't shaking before we started talking, and now I am because it's real, because, Empyrean is what we're calling codename Railjack. It's basically taking the Space Ninja part of Warframe, sending it back up to space, bringing players that squad gameplay they know, taking the enemies like the Corpus and the Grineer, giving them their own Railjack to essentially explore the solar system with and take down the bad guys.
And when are fans going to get to see more?
Well, TennoCon is in London, Ontario. It's July 6th, and you can come watch it online on Twitch. We're going to be showing a lot more in our keynote for what Empyrean is going to be.
Well, today I'm getting
A lot
a
more
so
the
what's the
keynote
deal with that sweet-looking necklace prime? How do I get my Tenno arms into it?
I cannot say that on live television, but there are ways. But yeah, you just have to link your Warframe account to your Twitch account. If you watch 30 minutes of our Tenno live show, you can get it. But hopefully you stay for the whole hour because we got lots to show.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, and good luck with TennoCon on July 6th.
Thank you.
Okay, now we've seen some amazing stuff today, but nothing quite so gloriously strange as our next game. Developed by Brooklyn-based studio Feral Cat Den, it's an existential-based jazz odyssey set during the Big Bang. Yeah, it's actually blown my mind learning about this one. Buckle up, everyone, because we're about to get bonkers with Genesis Noir.
Yeah, this one looks neat. This is a long show. It's like we're an hour and 40 minutes into this. That looks good. I like that.
Genesis Noir, just beautiful, stylish art. The next game we're going to take a look at is the twist on the stealth genre. It's called El Hijo, where you play as a 6-year-old trying to escape a monastery and find your mother using toys and tricks to avoid monks. Let's take a look at this gorgeous spaghetti western inspired project from Studio Handy Games.
Super dynamic stealth game. Where you're interacting with your environment more than just hiding in some grass or behind a wall. El Hijo.
El Hijo, once again, is the title of the trailer we just saw. For our final guest tonight, please join me in welcoming from Larian Studios CEO Sven Vincke, and from Dungeons & Dragons at Wizards of the Coast, the creative director of Dungeons & Dragons, Mike Mearls, to talk about Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah! Now, this was only just recently announced. How did this partnership come about?
We went to see Wizards of the Coast at the end of Divinity Original Sin 1.
Yeah.
That was back in 2014. And I tried to convince them back then that they should give us the Baldur's Gate 3 license. And they said, yeah. But we had a long chat about what the vision would be for the game. And then we kept on bumping into each other. And then suddenly in 2016, I get a phone call from Nathan Stewart, who's the big boss of Mike and the head of Dungeons & Dragons. He said, you need to come to Seattle right away. We're going to have dinner in a very shady restaurant. And he had this big stack of paper with him. And on it was Baldur's Gate 3. And in it was pretty much everything that we talked about. And he says, I'm going to present this to my board. Do you still want to do it? Yeah, of course I still want to do it. And then a couple of weeks later, we started negotiating. And here we are.
I mean, what does the Baldur's Gate franchise mean to you, Mike?
Oh, to me, it's the crown jewel of D&D computer games, right? I mean, for me personally, Baldur's Gate, the original one, was finally I had the chance to actually play a D&D campaign rather than having to run them for all my friends. So it means so much to us. Baldur's Gate, it's such fantastic storytelling, and it's so exciting to see it come to not only a new generation of gamers, but for
Looks like
the
Friar
gamers
Tuck.
who remember the 20 years it's been since the original, the first two in the series. So it's incredibly exciting. And for us, it really is. It's such an important part of the
Like they told the cameraman, can you really zoom in on that bald
Talk
spot?
about some of the story elements, the world elements. What are things we're going to see in Baldur's Gate 3?
Well, we're only talking about what's in the trailer right now, but obviously you're going to go to the city, because we start with the city. You start outside of the city, actually. There's going to be mind flayers. They're very nasty. You are seeing in the trailer the process of ceremorphosis, as we call it. It's accelerated, so that's not normal.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of iconic creatures, iconic characters, iconic places, and that's as far as we go.
I'm curious about some of the gameplay elements, because obviously, there's just been a big resurgence of Dungeons & Dragons, tons of broadcasts on Twitch. I mean, how do you translate some of the insane things that players want to do into, what has to be a structured computer game?
So we started with the player handbook, which is basically the basic rule set of Dungeons & Dragons.
Which player handbook? Which edition?
5th edition. 5th edition.
Great. Yeah.
And so we ported as much as we could to the video game. We looked at what works really well. We looked at the things that didn't work that well, because it is a video game, and this was made for tabletop gaming. And so we started modifying those things, and then we had to add things on top of it, because if you play tabletop, you have a game master, and you say, well, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then the
I
game
want to
master
start a fight with a pigeon. And he's like, okay, roll for dexterity.
Exactly, that's it. So we had to add systems to make that possible within the game. But we've gone very, very far.
Yeah, I mean, can you give an example of like a crazy moment that a player might do that you could actually play out in the game?
Well, I could, let's say that we get into a fight because you ask a nasty question, I don't want to answer it. And I take the chair over there, I put it on fire, smash it on your head. Well, just as an example.
It's just an example, this is fine, we're just talking,
These are things that we have to put systems into the game for to do it, which are not necessarily going to be described inside of the book.
Interesting. And I mean, like, Mike, in terms of your role, speaking to Larian Studios, you have tons of data of all the sorts of things that players do. What's the sort of information that you provide in assistance?
Well, really what it comes down to is providing the story support. We think of Dungeons & Dragons, the universe of D&D. It's like a toy box for dungeon masters and players to go into and build their own stories. So working with Larian and working with Sven, a lot of it was just opening up that toy box and sharing it. and giving that kind of guidance. You know, like I remember one of our first meetings, we just laid out a map of Baldur's Gate and the Sword Coast and asking a lot of questions like, what kind of story do you want to tell? Where do we want to go? What are the cool locations we've always wanted to put into a game like this? And then in terms of the system support, you know, what does it mean in terms of the story for each character, for each character race, each character class, so that if you have your favorite class and it's in the game, you really feel like you're taking on that role that you love so much from the tabletop. It's really coming to life in an authentic way in Baldur's Gate 3.
And we're going to talk in a moment about Baldur's Gate 3 release dates and whatnot, but we have a second game that we want to talk about on a new technology known as pencil and paper. I understand that there is a tabletop prequel coming for Baldur's Gate.
Exactly.
Wow.
So in Baldur's Gate, we think there's one saga, all the different games coming together to tell one grand story of this city. So on September 17th, we're releasing our next tabletop campaign, Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus. And it is the next chapter in the Baldur's Gate saga, and it's a prequel to Baldur's Gate 3. So if you haven't played a Baldur's Gate game since Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, this is your chance to check out on the history. It's been about 100 years since the events of Baldur's Gate 2.
Yeah.
So this will give you a chance to check in on the city, to see what's going on, its current state, who the movers and shakers are. We also feature a complete levels 1 to 13 campaign that takes you from the mean streets of Baldur's Gate to the depths of hell itself. And sort of pose to the players a question: do you want to redeem Baldur's Gate or send it to damnation? So we're putting that right in players' hands to make that choice.
Well, I have to ask Sven, it's a question on a lot of people's minds. What can you talk to us about expected release time frames?
Yeah, it is.
So people have been waiting for it for a long time.
Yeah.
They're going to have to wait a little bit more when it's ready. This is the game that we want to play, so we want to make sure it's really, really good. And then when that's the case, then we'll release it.
Well, I know a lot of people have been waiting a long time, and I think I speak for a lot of people here when I say, take your time. If the Divinity Original Sin games are any indication of the quality, it's going to be fantastic and worth the wait. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me on stage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ben and Mike talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Goodbye. Goodbye, guys. Why are they leaving? Well, it's because the PC gaming show has officially concluded. Let's bring up on the stage the fantastic Frankie Ward. Come here, Frankie.
Hello. Well, thank you so much, Sean. Hasn't this audience been absolutely fantastic today?
Guys, thank you so much for coming out to the 5th annual PC Gaming Show. We want to give an enormous thanks to all of you who tuned in live. We want to, of course, thank all of you who personally showed up this morning, and of course the sponsors who helped make this possible: Epic Game Store, iWin, Frontier, Funcom, Paradox Interactive, Hovercast, Perfect World, Rebellion, Tripwire, and Samsung. As you know, PC gaming is a platform. It's not a publisher or developer, so these sponsors are essential for letting us put on this show every year. Thank you so much. And I gotta ask Frank, any titles you're excited about?
Well, I do love a baby elephant, so definitely Planet Zoo, and slightly more awkwardly then I also want to eat things, maybe elephants included, so Maneater, of course.
I'm personally looking forward to Songs of Conquest, and as you heard, there's games coming out all across 2019 and into 2020. We hope you all have a fantastic E3. It officially begins tomorrow. Big shout out to all the other press conferences. Hello again, Dropped Frames. Good to see you 2 years in a row. We hope you all have a fantastic time at E3 and go play some games and make some friends. See you next year. Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Okay, well, it's a it's a platform to show sort of the more indie games and mid-range games, and for Epic Game Store to get in there and have their name said a few times, and more sponsors. Yeah, we saw the Samsung monitor. That was really exciting. Great. Okay. PC Gamer. Which one is up next? We got Ubisoft. 48,000. 8 million views. What? That's on their channel. PC Gamer. Look at that. Almost 2 million followers. Ubi is 430? Yeah, that was pretty boring. Watch Dogs cover art? Watch Dogs 3 or what? El Hijo. This one looked nice. Smart way to do stealth. I mean, I love Divinity Sin, so that'll make me want to try Baldur's Gate because of Larian. This looks really interesting, actually. This one. I like Surreal. Whatever Warframe is, I don't know. It was mostly CGI trailer. What else we got here? More Warframe. Borderlands. Actually looks pretty good. I'm happy that we're finally playing Borderlands 2. This looks pretty nice, actually. The Her Story. Her Story follow-up. More Terraria. I'm probably not going to play that, but I'm glad it's still going. Maneater could be interesting. Yeah, good timing there, Princey Boy. Oh, yeah, this Ancestors game. There was actually so many games. It was hard to keep track. What else we got here? The Contra type game looked okay. I'm surprised it's not 2 players. Looks like there's room over here on the second side. Chris Tales actually looks... I don't know, the art style looks neat. Almost like maybe a Child of Light style? I could be totally wrong about that. Auto Chess. That was actually pretty nice. Exclusive for Epic Games Store. Oh, that's a Dota mod. Right, Ancestors. The original creator of Assassin's Creed is doing Ancestors. I like that. I love when you have those original creators going. This one, I didn't. A base building game about terraforming Mars. That could be nice. More Vermintide. Play as the Skaven or the Chaos. Oh yeah, Bloodlines 2. Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines. That could be interesting. I mean, the first one was one of those games that everyone says had such a great concept and but had some flaws that kept it off a lot of people's radar. So a sequel would be pretty interesting. A lot of potential. Sure, the new Heroes of Might. Total War. Rail on a Forklift. Coming to the Epic Games Store. Oh my god. They don't know if it's an exclusive. That's crazy. Planet Zoo. That actually looked pretty good. Whatever this one was. This was the one that you were into, eh, Bunny? Sort of a Dark Souls-y party co-op shooter. Grifflands. I could maybe get into that. I mean, I liked Hearthstone, and I liked the art style of it. They didn't really... and they showed that there were... I guess the whole point of it was that there were a lot of different ways to go about things and recruit people. So, yeah, so they just added the cards over the development. Remnant from the Ashes. From the makers of Darksiders 3. Some kind of zombie game. Zombie. Oh, that was Hitler up in the sky? I didn't notice. Lost Oasis. I remember the font for this game more than anything. Going on Chop Chop actually looked pretty decent. There you go. Bizarre and Wonderful Spider Machines. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, yeah. Midnight Ghost Hunt. That was a fun little one. That was sort of like Felix was saying. It's sort of like prop hunt. Possessing these things in the house, trying to hide. And then when midnight hits, all of a sudden the ghosts get more powerful. The other team plays as these ghost hunters. Mosaic looks nice. 64-player battle Chivalry. That was when I started watching it. That was the first one on. See, I didn't see this thing. Colony Management Sim, Starmancer, Space Pirates. I like the look of this. When's that one coming out? Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines Trailer 2. I didn't see this one. Vampire Puberty, Evil Genius 2, World Domination. Fiendish Lair Building Sim. So you get a lot on PCs, eh? Clicking around, sims, building stuff. What's this? What's this one? What's this? What is this? Is this Vampire Masquerade? This Seattle thing? Evil Genius 2, whatever that is. Oh, we should have watched it on Mixer. All right, let's check out these ones that I missed. Space Pirate Murder Everybody. Want to see. Chucklefish. Produced by them, I guess? Didn't they produce Stardew Valley? Or develop it? I like green writing. I like this. Nice. Oh yeah, I want to play that. I want to get a beta access, baby. Play starmancer.com. Vampire.
I guess I have to be the one to tell you. You're dead. You're obviously new to this whole existence. But truth is, most of you types won't even make it a whole year. We have one rule. You don't break the masquerade.
Seems kind of cartoony.
The city. We're all fighting over scraps here. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your death. Having fun yet?
I would like to see more of the different vampire races and clans and stuff. No Nosferatu. Yeah, we just kind of showed a bunch of the more human-looking ones, eh? They don't really show a lot in trailers. They try to make this movie, and you have no idea. Elden Ring will be more Dark Souls and Sekiro and way bigger than both. Yeah, you know that? Because all I saw was some CGI in a trailer. More focus on the RPG. Fun, responsive, melee-based combat, or melee. Alright. Oh my god, how many hats could there be? Oh, you gave an interview? Okay. What was that other game I was looking at? Something space? I can't remember. Starmancer. It's a good name. I like. Coming soon. What about the alpha, the beta, or the alpha? Where is that? How much is it? Look at that. They wanted 40 grand. It was funded. $35. If you're not sure, just buy the base game. Send us a message. We'll upgrade your order if you change your mind. We're not fans of early access. We don't know when the beta will release. Nice. Okay, cool. Well, I'm out of here. Enjoy Ubisoft. I unfortunately won't be here for it, but I might be around for Square. But thanks for hanging. And stop looking at my desktop.